Hey, y'all, just wanted to jump on today and talk a little bit about my Unbound training, where I am, how we're getting done. We're down to the wire here. It's March 5th. There are 89 days until the race is over. So, really need to be on point. So, what am I working on? What's coming up in the near future to get me the next level? That's kind of what I want to talk about today. So, we'll jump right in with what am I working on? Right now, I'm just wrapped up dialing in my nutrition and hydration. And I think I've got it because the last couple races and rides I've done, I've had exactly the amount of fuel and hydration that I've needed plus one. So enough bars and snacks and all, and then to have one left over when I'm done. Enough bottles and liquid to have one left over or a little bit of one left over when I'm done. So let's talk about what I'm using and how it's impacting me. So my nutrition, I am running on Picky Bars. Picky Bars is my base nutrition. I stack on top of this some blocks or another bar that I really love the flavor of. But this is a cinnamon roll and Picky Bar. It's a really easy to eat. The packaging super easy to open on a bike. It's got 180 calories and 25 grams of carbs. So my goal is 40 to 60 carbs an hour. This gets me over halfway there. The rest is in liquid form. So I'm using Scratch High. Let me see if I can get this in there. Using Scratch High Carb drink mix. It's used to be called their Super Fuel. Now it's called Super High Carb Sport Drink Mix. This stuff is pretty intense. On a full serving of 7 scoops, you get 100 grams of carbohydrates. I run about half that just because 100 grams of carbohydrates is a lot, and it's more than what I'm using. So 7 scoops in a 20 ounce bottle. My apologies, in a 20 ounce bottle gets you about 100 grams of carbs. I'm running 4 to 5 scoops, so I'm getting somewhere around 40 to 50, maybe 60 grams of carbs in a bottle. I'm finishing that bottle about every hour. So between that bottle and the bars, if I have to miss a bar, I got my bottle backup, right? Because if you've ridden gravel, sometimes you need to eat, but you can't let go of the bars long enough to chow down on a bar on a nutrition bar. So you can grab that bottle real quick, take a drink, throw it back in the cage. Because when you're downhilling on gravel, sometimes it gets pretty rough. You can't let go of the bars, or you at least need to keep one hand very close on the bars so that you can maintain some control. Post ride, what am I doing for recovery? Immediately after, my recovery drink is the Picky Bars Prote Milk recovery drink. It's an oat milk based recovery drink, protein shake. Throw it in a blender bottle, 8 ounces of water, half a cup of powder, shake it up. It's delicious. And then I'm eating the meal to go bars. I don't have one with me right now because I'm out. I need to order some more. But the meal to go bars, they're 400 calories. They're just a really super dense bar, but they are great for recovery. I've found it gives back everything I need to have the energy to get home where I can start the rest of my recovery routine. Maybe I'll talk about recovery routine on another video because recovery is so important to this whole process. I would not be making the gains in fitness that I am if I was not recovering properly. So we'll talk about recovery in another video because there's a lot that goes into my recovery regimen. So I don't want to bog that down here. We'll get another video all about recovery. That does it for nutrition and hydration. The other side of what I'm doing to make sure that I am ready for every event is bike maintenance. Personally, wash my bike after every race, after every big ride where it gets dirty. And when I say dirty, I mean really dirty, right? Like mud caked on and that sort of thing. If I go out for a quick spin around the block or a 20-mile pavement ride, I'm less worried about washing it. Maybe just wipe the chain down, make sure that it's looking good. But after these muddy gravel rides and muddy, group rides and stuff, I get out and I wash the bike. That gives me a chance to inspect everything on the bike, make sure there's no issues, no cracks in the forks, no, bent links in the chain, stuff like that. I get down to that level. And then I take it into the shop. Yep, I take it into my local bike shop over at Conte's Bike Shop where I bought the bike, have them go through it as well. This is the last time I had it in, needed new cables, needed new brake pads. After Border Wars, the brakes were toast. You'll see that video. So I want to make sure that the bike is in top form for every ride. I just noticed after this last ride that I've got some separation starting on my tires, so it's time to change those tires. I'll do that probably just before my next race. So that's the next thing to talk about is the next steps in my training process. So the next step is putting in the hours in saddle time, just getting those long days in the bike. I did a recent ride. It was about 80 miles, 4 hours plus in zone 2, 6 hours in the saddle, just kind of cruising to make sure that, you know, my gear, my kit, my chamois, all that can hold up for these long periods of time. Hate to get out in the middle of Kansas and have a chamois explosion, and then be kind of stuck. That would be really bad. So that's what I'm doing there. The next one coming up race wise is Saluda Red Bank 100, and that's on April 1st in Saluda, South Carolina. It's 100 miles, 4,300 feet of elevation. So just about half of Unbound 200 in both distance and elevation. That's going to be a really, really good litmus test for me to know, can I double this, and go from there. It'll give me a great outlook on just what 100 miles looks like, and we'll be able to build on that for the next 2 months. After Saluda, I'm going to get into climbing training for the month of April and May, because in May I have Valley of the Giants, part of the Stucky's gravel roll. And that is a 77-mile race, I believe, with over 7,000 feet of elevation. That's going to be the big test. That's where that's my race test, because the elevation, not because of the distance, but the elevation. Can I do that much elevation? And that's a lot of elevation over a very short amount of distance. It's over 100 feet per mile is the elevation, and that's pretty crazy climbing. We'll be in the North Georgia mountains doing that climbing, and the descents. That's another part of this that I've got to train on, or the gravel descents of that kind of grades. We're talking 15, 20% grades. Yeah, scary. I don't know. I've never descended like that before, so I guess I'll have to get used to it pretty quickly. I think that's just about it. We'll break down those two races obviously after they're done, and I'll put some links to them too, so you can go check it out if you're interested in seeing what those two races are about. I'll put some links down in the description for those two. Let's see, we talked about nutrition, we talked about hydration, we talked about bike maintenance, we talked a little bit about recovery, because I am working on recovery. Your body maintenance is just as important. We talked about what's upcoming. I really think that's everything, y'all. So March 5th, 89 days from Unbound. Wow, the reality is sinking in. What have I gotten myself into? Yeah, I want to say a quick thanks as we're wrapping up here to all the subscribers. Thank you so much to everyone who has clicked subscribe. If you have not yet clicked subscribe, join those who have. Click the button down at the bottom and ring the bell so you can get notified every time I post new content. And we will be looking for your name scrolling across the bottom of the screen, just like all of these. Until next time, folks, I'm Jackal Crossing. Ride safe, have fun, and I'll see you on the streets.